I want to ask you something that I suspect you already know the answer to. Have you ever played a front nine that felt almost effortless? Where the shots came naturally, the decisions were clear, and something about the whole experience just flowed. Where you arrived at the turn and looked down at your scorecard and thought, I have no idea how I did that, but I did. And then, almost without fail, something changed. The back nine arrived. And with it, something else. Something invisible and uninvited that slowly, quietly, began to dismantle everything the front nine had built. Most golfers know this experience intimately. The good front nine that somehow guarantees a difficult back nine. The terrible start that inexplicably turns into a recovery. The round that seems to have a will of its own, swinging between the nines in ways that defy all logic. I have heard this story 1,000 times, and I want to tell you exactly what is actually going on. Because when you see it clearly, really see it, something changes. Not just in your golf, in everything. Let's start with the good front nine, because what's actually happening there is worth understanding. When a golfer is playing beautifully, really flowing, their mind is settled. Not empty, not switched off, not trying to think of nothing. Just quiet, present. Here, on this hole, with this shot, in this moment. They're not thinking about the round they had last week. They're not projecting forward to what score they might finish with. They're not carrying yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's hopes. They are simply here. And from that place of settled presence, the natural game, the one that practice has built, the one that lives in the body, is free to express itself without interference. This is what a settled mind produces. Not perfection, but freedom. The freedom to play the shot in front of you without the weight of every other shot ever played pressing down on your shoulders. And here is something important to understand about this settled state. The golfer didn't create it deliberately. They didn't follow a mental routine to achieve it. It arrived naturally, often at the start of a round before the scorecard has become a thing, before expectations have formed, before the thinking has had time to rev up. The settled mind isn't something you build. It's what's already there when thought gets out of the way. And then comes the turn. The scorecard gets looked at. The number gets seen. And in that moment, innocently, automatically, without any intention, thought begins to move. What if I keep this up? What can I finish with? I've never scored this well on the front. Don't waste it. Don't let it slip. Hold on to what you've built. None of these thoughts are chosen. They arrive on their own, the natural consequence of a mind that has been given something to think about. And each thought creates the next one. And before long, the settled mind that produced the good front nine has been replaced by something busy, something loud, something carrying the weight of a future that hasn't happened yet. A thought-created future. Entirely imaginary, entirely convincing, and entirely capable of dismantling the present moment that was producing beautiful golf just minutes before. The player hasn't changed. The course hasn't changed. The clubs haven't changed. Only the mind has changed. And that is everything. Now consider the opposite. The player who has a dreadful front nine. Dropped shots, mistakes, nothing going right. They arrive at the turn deflated. And something interesting happens. The expectation collapses. There is nothing left to protect. The thought-created future, the one that was causing all the pressure, dissolves because the score has already gone. And in that strange, quiet liberation, the thinking settles. The trying softens. The player stops getting in their own way. And the back nine flows. Same player, same course, same clubs. A completely different mind and completely different golf. I want to step off the course for a moment Because what I have just described is not really about golf at all. How many hours of your life have you spent living in a thought-created future that never actually arrived? Lying awake at 3 in the morning, running through scenarios that existed only in your mind, worrying about a conversation that hadn't happened yet, dreading an outcome that never came, spending the present moment, the only moment that is ever actually real, somewhere else entirely, in a future made entirely of thought. This is the back nine of life for so many people. Not because things are actually going wrong, but because the mind has been given a scorecard and can't stop looking at it. And here is the most important thing I can tell you about all of it. The thought-created future is not real. It has never happened. It doesn't exist anywhere except inside the thinking that is generating it. And yet it feels completely real. Because thought always feels real from the inside. That is simply how thought works. The settled mind that produced the beautiful front nine wasn't a special state reserved for elite golfers or enlightened monks. It was just a mind that hadn't yet been given a scorecard to worry about. Present. Here. Quiet. And that mind is available to every single person, at any moment, on any hole, in any circumstance. To play well, really well, you don't need a perfect swing, or a perfect scorecard, or a perfect front nine to protect. You just need to be here, present, in a good feeling, in this moment, with this shot. Not in the round you played last week, not in the score you might finish with, not in the conversation you need to have tomorrow, or the problem you haven't solved yet. Just here. The front nine will take care of itself, and so will the back nine, and so, quietly, without any great effort, will the rest of it. The scorecard is just a piece of paper. This moment is the only thing that is real. Come back to it as often as you need to. It's always here, waiting.